My name is Batista, and my friends call me Bunny. And I was asked to be a mentor and give a presentation for the Stampede youth competition. I prepared a little something, which includes photos from high school that I've never shown anyone. But what better way to teach the youth than to show them that there's pure potential in the rawness and what I had done before. It's actually embarrassing and I don't know quite why I'm doing it, but I think you'll get a kick out of it. This is episode 90, Baby Bunny. You can tell by these photos of me as a kid that I was a little troublemaker. And, some people never change. I was a kid raised by TV and a single mom in the 80s. This is what a kid's bedroom actually looks like, with the lovely wood panel and floor. It wasn't all neon and Zach Morris guitars hung on the wall. In high school, I was really fortunate to have a very supportive art teacher. Window painting of a gnome done at the community center in Ladysmith. But it was at that time that I discovered Salvador Dali. And clearly you can see the surrealism reflected in my early works. These warpy, surrealist weirdness. I have always loved figures in backgrounds. This is my reimagined best friend, Tim. I was the grad decorating executive, which means I was like the one person in the school who liked art and was elected at Ladysmith Secondary School. And we painted a bunch of paper rolls with bricks, and the theme was goth. I was pretty goth. I listened to grunge music and 9 Inch Nails. You can see the eyeliner here. Blurry self-portrait. I was really into Bob Marley. I had my first art exhibition in a mall in Nanaimo, and this was the acrylic painting vendor beside me, and I did his portrait. I did this banner for Nanaimo. You can see the Dali influence in the drippy egg. My mom loved blue herons. She was a trained chef, and I painted some realism of a cutting board and some vegetables for her. Oh, I had a crush on Bjork, and so I painted her often. My stepdad and my bird Cookie. A picture from 1996 of my friend. Love my bass guitar here. And a scholarship piece I had painted of clouds. 1998 to 2001, I moved to Calgary to attend the Alberta College of Art and Design. When you're in art school, they have you doing all sorts of crazy things. You have this foundation year where you do everything and use every single material. And the workload is hectic. It's multiple classes with multiple teachers asking you to do themed work, and you're just cranking out, trying to push your creativity. I got my degree in sculpture, and I chose that because it was things I didn't know. I looked to the painting teachers and I thought, I can probably learn this on my own. Plus the studios were small. And the studios in the sculpture department were quite huge. And in sculpture, you could do whatever you wanted as long as it was 3D. So I learned welding, I took glass blowing, ceramics, plaster casting, sculpting with KDOE. Those were foundational years where many friends were made and art dreams were crushed. I graduated Board of Governors Award, valedictorian, which means I got the last laugh. But the real last laugh is after art school, I had loans to pay down. And I was very fortunate, right after school, I got a student job at M Media Gallery and Production Society. And for about 8 years on and off, I worked in video and motion picture production. I taught editing, I was a cameraman, did all sorts of motion picture stuff, and really my painting at that time was a nighttime activity in my studio, which was just across the street. I started down this path with my interest and practice of Tibetan Buddhism, and I had found this crazy book by Robert Beer with these amazing images. And I really loved figures in spaces. And so there was this idea of this codified exploration through the positions of figures in spaces, but also each had an interesting amulet or mudra, a hand position, and I really wanted to learn more about it, and what better way than to learn through actually the making of these images. What I especially liked about them was that they were just so full of images, like corner to corner, but also I thought that if you looked at these, that they looked how death metal sounds, just like rah! And the thing that we are encountering today with AI or, the mindless scrolling and quickness is that it's really difficult to get someone to look at something. So even back then, I wanted to make images that were really captivating and had enough detail and information that could keep me interested, but also maybe trap a viewer for, 2 minutes. At openings, people were past the flip phones. We weren't quite in the territory of smartphones, but people started taking images of my work. And this led me, because I was making prints at the time, that I had to control where the images were going. And so I started using sparkles, reflective metals, things that would kind of catch your eye like a magpie if you walked by it. But also, if you were trying to take a picture, you could not make a perfect print because you'd have like a bright spot or a shine spot in it. Now that I'm doing these deities, and I have metal things reflecting and catching your eye from the side, the inability for you to possibly photograph or steal the image, and I started working with these 3D kind of glasses called chroma depth. Gives you kind of like this 3D effect. More on that in another episode though. In 2012, I had my second solo exhibition called Divine Inspiration, where I was taking older deities, the Vedic deities, but I wanted to start painting them more in the round. And so I had to study and understand the classical artists and how light fell on a three-dimensional surface so that I could step away from the flat outline and fill of the previous work, which was more iconographic. But that's when I kind of cracked open the Pandora's box of traditional or classical art. I was really tired of the contemporary art world that an art university had trained me for. It seemed a lot like they trained you for the lottery in the hope that you would be that one genius that got discovered. And I really pined for actually attaining the skills to make the things that I wanted to make. 2012, 2013, Calgary was the cultural capital of Canada, so the city was flush with money and opportunity. I got to make this piece of the city skyline, and it's made up of every person's name who supports the art in Calgary. So in the following years, I mostly did residencies. I went to Saskatchewan, Whitby Fine Arts, Belas Artes in Portugal. I went to Italy. I studied at the Paris Academy of Art. I went to the Netherlands. I even visited Japan during this time. This was sort of the formative years of a lot of travel and discovery, a lot of book reading, and trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do with art. Now that I'd had these shows, I think I kind of had a bad taste in my mouth because you really realize where your limitations are. And so I guess at this point, I'm becoming a student again. I was really good at formulating what I had learned and delivering it. So I had this gift of being a teacher. I worked back at the school that I had trained at, but also I kind of saw that there was a change and an interest returning to classical, figurative, and the traditional arts. And so in 2015, something came on my radar, and in 2017, through some time and effort, I opened this place, Atelier Artista. Last episode was about how the Atelier has been here 8 years now, and it's grown a lot from the start and what I first intended. I do want artists to be better in this city. For sure, I want that skill to perpetuate, and I want to teach the way that I think actually works the best. The fact that I'm just surrounded by arts constantly. I have figure models 5 times a week, which forces me to maintain my practice consistently. And it's during this time that I'm starting to see the growth. I mean, all artists are going to say they don't like most of their work, probably. I don't know. Like, some days you do, some days you don't. I kind of feel like artwork, every blank canvas is a new start, a tabula rasa, like a child. But as soon as you put something on it, you're coloring that child's life, and decisions get made, and maybe some accidents happen, and it learns, and it grows, and it goes on this journey. And eventually, hopefully, it refines, becomes mature, and maybe even wisdom like old age by the end. I don't think painting is ever really finished. Like, I like to just keep painting on things over and over. And so I got to keep creating new babies so that in the future I have more to paint on later on. I want to leave the episode here for now. It's not really a cliffhanger, but within each pod of the things I talked about, I think I could make fully more episodes. I'm a hustler. I keep going. It's Sunday night after dinner, and I'm here making this episode to share with you some of the insights. So if you like this sort of thing, please subscribe, comment, leave something below. I don't know what else you can do for the algorithm. Share it around. I really appreciate if you can help